Hi everybody, and welcome to another WeatherCastUSA Quickcast. On this Quickcast, we're going to break down the winter weather event that's unfolding for the Northeast Corridor later this weekend. Confidence is increasing on a rapidly intensifying nor'easter that's expected to impact the region from later Sunday afternoon through Monday morning. As an upper-level feature swings from the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, a strengthening surface low off the East Coast is expected to take advantage of this favorable upper-level environment, as well as moisture from the Atlantic, and potentially undergo bombogenesis off the East Coast. This bomb cyclone will bring the combination of high surf, coastal erosion, strong winds, and heavy snowfall to portions of the Mid-Atlantic, Central and Northern Appalachians, much of the East Coast and New England, including the I-95 corridor. On Saturday, we're tracking the upper-level feature crossing the Great Lakes and into the interior of the Northeast later on Saturday, with mostly light accumulations across the Great Lakes into upstate New York and portions of the interior of New England. But the main phase, the critical phase, will occur on Sunday as the energy transfers between the deepening low pressure off the Mid-Atlantic coast. The models, including the GFS, the American model, as well as the European model, indicate a classic nor'easter setup. There are still some significant differences in the models, mostly on the track of the low pressure and how close that center comes to the coast. Small differences in that track mean big differences for snowfall totals along the I-95 corridor from Washington-Baltimore through Philadelphia, New York City, Providence, and up to Boston. Right now, it appears like the I-95 corridor will see significant snowfall totals, along with heavy snow, upwards of an inch per hour snowfall rates, creating dangerous to impossible travel conditions. But that track of the low is key in determining how long those heaviest bands of snowfall sit over the region versus pulling out to sea. And that track then dictates how much total snowfall you see, and why we still have a lot of variability in some of the official National Weather Service forecasts. Forecast totals remain sensitive on the exact track of that low pressure, but with the highest snowfall totals along and east of I-95 for portions of coastal New Jersey, southern portions of New England, and also Long Island, those areas could see at least a foot of snowfall or more. Let's take a look at these areas that are going to be affected by the nor'easter a little closer in detail and get some early snowfall estimates for you. First, taking a look at the Mid-Atlantic from DC up to Philly. This area is a little bit trickier because it's going to start with a transition from rain to heavy snowfall by late Sunday evening. Some of the totals in here are going to be dependent on when and how early that transition to snowfall happens. A faster changeover could up those totals a little bit. But generally, these areas, we're thinking about 3 to 6 inches of snow generally across the DC, Baltimore area, and then southern portions of the Delmarva, with the higher snowfall totals with a little bit quicker transition to snowfall and then a little longer period of being in the heavy snowfall from areas north and east of Dover, Delaware, southeast Pennsylvania, and then into New Jersey, further up the I-95. The higher terrain of the Appalachians is a region where we've had more confidence in those higher snowfall totals over the last couple days. This area is a little less dependent on the exact track of the low pressure that we previously mentioned here in the video. Despite the guidance and differences in that track of the coastal nor'easter, this area has a combination of synoptic snowfall from that upper level trough that's going to move from the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley across this region into the Mid-Atlantic and help strengthen that low off the coast, as well as orographic lift along those higher ridgelines and that higher terrain of the Appalachians, as well as a deeper column of cool air in this region. So those combinations will create higher confidence in snowfall totals within that 8 to 10 inch range, but also especially portions of eastern West Virginia, as well as extreme southwestern portions of Pennsylvania. Those areas could see a foot plus of snowfall totals. I think especially on the higher peaks and the ridgelines in southwest Pennsylvania, eastern West Virginia, maybe extreme western Virginia, could get in that 12 to 15 inch kind of range. And that is going to be some beneficial snowfall for the ski resorts like Snowshoe, Canaan Valley, Timberline, and Seven Springs. Taking a look at the tri-state and southern New England, this area has a pretty high confidence now of seeing some significant snowfall totals, potentially over a foot of snow, especially from coastal New Jersey across Long Island and then to the southern coast of New England into southeast Massachusetts. Some of these areas could even get closer to 2 feet of snow, depending on that exact track of the low pressure. and how much banding of snowfall totals we see there, with some pretty significant snowfall totals, and whiteout conditions are possible. One exception is Nantucket and the extreme southeast portions of Massachusetts. Some of the guidance shows warm sector rain kind of sneaking up into that area, which does tend to happen from time to time on these coastal nor'easters. It's going to snow even on the islands there on Nantucket and on the Cape, but depending on how much rain actually mixes in, that could reduce the snowfall total some. I still think some of that area could get closer to 6 inches plus of snowfall totals, but yeah, the rain will mix in there and just hit some of those totals off just a little bit. Just a little bit further north and inland from areas around Boston and points into the south parts of Massachusetts and especially Rhode Island, it's very possible to get over a foot of snowfall where we don't have the rain mixing in. And it looks like it's going to stay really an all snow event across Long Island, southern parts of Connecticut, as well as New York City. And looking further at some of these coastal areas of the Northeast, this is where some of these impacts of the nor'easter are going to be the highest, and likely pretty high confidence in some of these coastal impacts regardless of the exact track. That includes coastal erosion, potentially coastal flooding, and then also localized power outages with heavy winds. These areas are expected to have strong east-northeast winds, potentially in that 50 to 60 mile an hour range, and as well as blowing snow. That's going to create reduced visibility, impossible driving and travel conditions. As of Saturday morning, we do now have blizzard warnings that are in place for Sunday afternoon through early Monday across portions of southeast Delaware, coastal New Jersey, Long Island, including New York City, as well as the southern coast of Connecticut. And as we were recording this, they've added blizzard warnings through all of Rhode Island and into southeast Massachusetts. That also includes the Boston area. So a wide stretch of the I-95 corridor could be under impossible travel conditions and blizzard conditions. And remember, blizzard conditions by the National Weather Service don't specifically factor in the amount of snowfall totals. It is possible, and we get it pretty frequently in the Midwest and the Northern Plains, blizzard conditions with minimal snowfall. A lot of times it's just blowing snow, creating those low visibilities. In this situation, with the strengthening nor'easter, these areas are going to get dumped on for snowfall totals. So in addition to those blizzard conditions from the blowing snow and the heavy wind, there's already going to be reduced visibility with heavy, possibly inch per hour plus snowfall totals, really making that travel impossible across these areas. And beyond that heavy snowfall, the coastal flooding is a major concern. Those onshore winds coinciding with high tides on Sunday night and Monday morning may cause moderate coastal flooding from really the Jersey Shore up through Cape Cod. Significant beach erosion with the high winds and the high surf is also likely all the way from the Delmarva up through southeastern Massachusetts. And we've kind of talked about this a little bit on the video, but travel disruptions are going to be widespread across this region with nearly impossible travel conditions. It's highly advised not to travel. It could be life-threatening travel conditions, so we're not exaggerating that here. And not just by car, it's going to be ground transportation, trains, as well as especially aviation disruptions. We're facing a widespread aviation disruption from Sunday afternoon through Monday morning, and even after the snowfall starts to wrap up, those travel disruptions sometimes take hours to even a day or two to kind of clear everything out of the system. Especially that this is a major hub for travel, especially air travel, as well as train transportation. When these major airports are affected, it often can have ripple effects across the continental US. So even if you're in a different part of the US and your flight originates from the Northeast, there could be travel delays downstream from the effects of this coastal nor'easter. It's recommended that you complete your travel and preparations by Saturday evening, at the very latest Sunday morning. But yeah, complete all your preparations. Make sure you got food and water stocked up and you're ready to go, because there could be some localized power outages, and it's going to be impossible to travel later on Sunday and likely even midday Monday before things start to kind of clear out. That's also important to make sure your NOAA weather radio is charged, or you got your batteries charged in there. Have your phone alerts turned on, and make sure you stay tuned to your local National Weather Service offices for updates to the winter storm warnings, to the blizzard warnings, And we will continue to get new data, so there will be more additional forecast adjustments and changes, especially to the snowfall forecasts. So continue to follow your local National Weather Service for guidance. And while a lot of the focus this weekend will be on the strengthening winter weather and nor'easter and the significant snowfall total for the I-95 corridor, I do also want to call attention to the severe risk with some severe thunderstorms. A level 1 out of 5 marginal risk is outlined by the Storm Prediction Center, and that stretches from the Gulf Coast all the way through the low country in the southeast. Some ongoing thunderstorms this morning and early afternoon could be a little bit feisty at times with isolated strong to severe storms, but it's really the Storm Prediction Center is really forecasting for later this afternoon and into the evening. That's where the primary hazards of damaging wind with some large hail are potential across this corridor in the southeast. And it's not out of the question we could have a tornado or two, but we'll continue to monitor this region for a live stream, especially if the severe weather uptrends and becomes more widespread. We'll pop on for a live stream. If it stays more isolated and a localized risk, just follow our other social media, WXCastUSA on Facebook and Twitter. Also, again, as we mentioned for the winter risk, it is important to make sure your NOAA weather radio is charged so you get your weather warnings locally, as well as the weather alerts turned on your phone to get any of those local severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in the southeast later this evening. Well, that's a look at some of the latest data for the strengthening nor'easter expected on Sunday afternoon through early Monday across the I-95 corridor in the northeast and portions of the mid-Atlantic. Don't forget to follow us here on WeatherCastUSA, X, and Facebook at WXCastUSA. And also don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube for more forecast videos, live severe weather coverage. Click on that bell icon and get notifications when we post new videos, forecast discussions, or go live for that severe weather coverage. Especially as we get into the spring severe weather season, it's important to have multiple ways to get your weather warnings and weather coverage. And it's an honor to be one of your trusted sources with our growing community of weather enthusiasts. So please take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll continue to update you on severe risk as well as the developing nor'easter across the I-95 corridor. Thanks a lot.